and not merely stories and challenges of experienced and emerging professional women living or working in the greater Adams County area through social, educational, and nonpartisan opportunities in a relaxed atmosphere.
My name is Stacey Rice. Welcome. Thank you all for coming. I'm so excited to see so many new faces. I've been talking with some of you this evening, and it's just so nice to have everybody here. I see some familiar faces and some new faces. So welcome, and we are so excited to have you here this evening. We have some different activities planned, and of course, we really enjoy listening to our future guests, which we will get to in just a couple of minutes. We do have a couple of things to do beforehand, though. So I am going to turn it over to Christine and Cynthia.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Christine Witherell, and I am one of the founding members of We Empowered. And I had been involved, I'm not sure how many people remember WAG. Anybody raise your hand? Anybody? No, nobody. So WAG was a similar kind of women's group that was kind of disbanded, but it had been in Adams County for probably 10 years, and it was just really an awesome way for women to connect and support each other, get to know each other in the community, and also know what's going on. And so somehow or another, serendipitously, the core group decided that it was time to, reignite that idea. And so that's how We Empowered was formed. And it's Patricia is the master. Where is she? There she is hiding. She's the master of connectivity, and connected a bunch of us together, and it's really an honor to be a founding member, and just a joy to be here with you all tonight. And we're really thrilled with the turnout, and just hope it continues to grow. And we encourage you to get to know each other, and that's it. Your turn.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit. I am Cynthia Ziegler. I'm the sales director for the Country Inn and Suites out by the outlets. And I wanted to tell you, this is more of maybe why I decided to help other women, because we all need our other women who are our sister friends, and we need to help other women. Mm-hmm. And these are some of the reasons why I joined this, why I wanted to be part of this group and wanted to be a founding member so we could reach out to the women in Adams County. Because I know what it's like to be the woman who lost her job and lost her self-confidence. And I knew the woman who knew what kind of asset she could be to the firm and gave a job and her confidence back. This didn't sound right. Gave her a job, and got her confidence back. I read this down in my bathroom this morning. That's where I do my best writing.
We'll join you in the bathroom tomorrow morning.
I have a pretty big bathroom, so just concludes. The woman who was in an abusive relationship, and her friend said, "You do not deserve this. You are worth more. It's time to leave." You're here. The woman who was scared to make her dreams come true, and the woman who told her, "I decided to fly high, and you can too. There is no limit to what you can achieve and the joy you can experience." The woman who needed resources when she and her children were struggling and she didn't know where to turn. And the woman who said, "I know who can help you. I will get you information. I will support you and be a helping hand. I will be there for you too." I have been many of these women, and I have needed some of them as well. I want to continue to be there for any woman who needs to be my helping hand, and continue to have women, and to be one of those women who support and inspire others because of their experiences, and provide a safe, kind, loving place that women can meet and network and get support and encouragement. And I am so proud to be on the founding team of Women Empowered in Adams County.
Yeah. Just add a few things. I'm with Harvest Investment Services, forgot that piece. And I too have experienced many things. I'm in the process of a divorce, and going through that process, I don't wish it upon anybody, but you really take back your power and stand in your power moving forward, and that's my goal, to move and support women and in any way that I can. And finances is a big piece of that. And so that's, one way, and coaching in a transformative way is another way that I support women. So I'm also going to start our next part, and that is our word, and I chose adventurous. And I have always been adventurous, and I was telling a friend of mine this past weekend how when I was 23 or 24, I got on a plane to go to Thailand because a girlfriend had won free tickets to anywhere that the airline flew. She said, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "I want to go to Thailand." Because I sponsored a child in Thailand, and I thought it'd be really cool to meet that child. So I went over 3 weeks ahead of her coming over, met my child, went on a tribal village truck, rode an elephant, ran the Bangkok Marathon, went to Vietnam in 1992. So adventurous is my word.
Yeah.
So we ask you to find 3 people who you don't know this evening and exchange your words, okay?
Once again, welcome. Thank you all for coming. I am going to do the introduction to the introduction. So, here's Patricia. I just want to say, you ready?
Yes. I'm multitasking over here. It's like women do.
Well, Patricia Green Rogers is one of our founding members, and I think this woman knows everybody. So she.
I got here less than 2 years ago.
It's amazing. We are very glad.
It was long overdue.
Yes. And because of her connections and her knowledge of people, she was kind enough to reach out to a friend of hers who is our guest speaker this evening. So I will allow Patricia to introduce her.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. And if I haven't met you, I'm happy that you're here. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I need to be short because Tina is the star. And I always, as a child, believed in the power of connectivity. I was raised during segregation, and I had a way of getting on the other side of the track with little white girls. And around reading. And so that, if you did that as a child, you grew into that there's such a rich source of power in us as women when we come together across our differences. And so when I moved to Pittsburgh from Washington, D.C., I had a different kind of environment, but I was fortunate because, again, through the YWCA, I met these amazing women, and one of them was Tina Williams Brewer. And we just connected right away. I don't know if it's because we're both artists, so that means we're a little bit different. But we connected right away, and I saw such immense talent in her. She was just at the beginning of deciding that she was going to start quilting, and she'll tell you a little bit about how that evolved. But when I looked at her quilt, I saw something that I'd never seen. I don't know, anyone in here familiar with Romare Bearden? He was a prolific Harlem Renaissance artist, and he did collages. And if you look at some of Tina's designs and the overlays, they just remind me of his works. And he was just brilliant. And Tina is brilliant, but she's so modest. And so when I moved from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. with my 2 children, I decided to invite 40 of my closest friends, girlfriends, to do a quilt with themes of motherhood, sisterhood, and the relationships that I had with them. Many of them didn't know each other, but they came. Out of the 40, 34 said yes, and along with my daughter and myself, there were 36 stories on this quilt. And Tina directed us. I don't know if some of you saw the video footage. That was the making of the quilt and the unveiling of the quilt. But Tina basically was our guidepost. She doesn't want to take credit, but there's something in Tina that is totally soul consciousness, not body consciousness. I say soul consciousness is rooted in the light, who we are, whereas body consciousness, we get into anger, lust, greed, attachment, ego. It's the divisive element. So Tina is my soul sister, and I am so thrilled that she is here to talk about her story through these brilliantly designed quilts, and as well as to share what this experience meant to all the women who participated. Thank you, Tina.
I have 15 minutes, okay, and I have a lifetime journey here. And so I'm going to first tell you that I am from Huntington, West Virginia, and I have been in Pittsburgh for 50 years. And that I was married for 44 years, and my husband transitioned 2 years ago, and I'm starting a new life. So being able to talk to you ladies now is a wonderful start for me, to be able to share back some of my experiences that I had. My husband was a historian, so we worked together on a lot of our quilts. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about my journey, because you can pick up a card, you can Google it, you can get immersed in the other quilts that I have and my journey. But last year I was named the Artist of the Year for the Governor Wolf. And I was taken aback because I felt like that was the thing that supported the women that I've been with, which are the quilters. Because people don't look at quilting as a craft, as an art, a fine art. They look at it as a craft. And really, it's really about creating and being creative. And this is a medium that you can get a group of people together, give them the techniques, and let them go from inside. Before we can go to the outside world and be able to interact with them and share our brilliance and our light, we all have special light, and I really believe that. And I am a teacher with the Pennsylvania Council of the Arts, and I work with children and adults, but I always start with the fact that you have your own special goodness, and I ask you, please show me your goodness, and then trust me that you are going to be able to create, because I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and I know that's kind of cliche-like now, but it is true. And whether or not you are a poet or a writer, everybody can envision the story. So you have helping hands, which I am, that show you the different techniques and mediums that you could use to be able to create your story. Now, this group of women was from Pat, where are you? 4 years old.
I'm sorry, I'm here.
Your daughter was 4 years old.
My daughter was 9.
9.
And Mrs. Hacker was 90.
90. Okay, so they're all in the room together for 4 weeks with their little bags. Bring your bag of goodies, and we're going to make something out of it. But the color doesn't match, and I don't know how to sew. But just bring your stuff. But what happened was the women were from such varied backgrounds, they all found a commonality in being able to say Pat was their friend, but then they got into their own personal stories. Women go through a lot of crisis. And because we are so disconnected in our womanhood now, because we're busy. We have children, we have businesses, we have husbands, we have homes, we have all those things that are pulling and tugging on us, and we don't have time to nurture our relationships with one another. And those are the things that last. Now, if I had not made friends over the years in Pittsburgh, I would have been in a puddle. You would see me as a puddle here. But there was a group of women who came in and they picked me up and they zoomed me away. I was in the process of a retrospective in Dallas, Texas, when the earth fell out from underneath me. And the women took me, they finished my book, they got all the quilts packed up, they took it and they connected with the museum that was gonna have the show and told them the circumstances of my situation with my husband, and they postponed the opening a bit for us, but it was the women who just jumped in. It was amazing. They jumped in and did everything. Because it was a sudden thing for me. So when I needed someone, I had many, okay? And many because I had quilting friends, I had community friends, I had church friends. So being able to connect with people genuinely, I mean, just because you like people, you bring your own personality. It's about personality. I am not that special, okay? But I love people. And my grandmother told me to be nice and act like you remember them because they were mine, okay? Yes, and my grandmother was the lady on the front pew with the hat and the gloves and the shoes that match and all the jewelry that she got from the secondhand store, okay? But she was stylish and she was beautiful and she instilled that part that is everlasting. So we collect a lot of stuff, and we are going to continue to collect a lot of stuff. But the lasting things is the energy that people instill in you. That energy never goes away. Now, we know that the material disintegrates, but the spirit is always with you. Whatever spirit, whatever higher being that you are connecting with, it never goes away. So when you have, like my grandmother, I can still hear her voice. I can still feel that she's with me because her energy was instilled in me at the kitchen table, my aunties. And we had neighborhoods, we had all of that. So if you are looking for something that makes you feel worth really elevated, do some volunteer work and instill in the future with our children, because they don't have the grandmothers, they don't have the connectiveness, and you can do one child that will remember you forever because you gave them words of wisdom, you gave them love. So it's about cracking that heart and opening it up. And when you look at that person, you're really looking at that person with love. It is the individual person that you look at and connect with that tells you, you are important to me. And that is not something that you can replicate. You have to really believe it. You have to learn to look at a woman in need or a family in need or a situation that maybe you can't. I mean, I just recently started saying, well, my daughter does it in Atlanta. Maybe I need to too. Those guys that come to your car when you're driving along, a bucket, and you roll the window up, and it's like, but you know what? I started giving them $1. What is that to me? $1, some change, but it meant the world to him. And you can see those authentic moments so that all of the giving all comes back. It's like the ocean. You throw it out, it comes back. Throw it out, and it comes back. So these pieces that I do, this work that I've done, and I've been quilting probably for a little over 40 years, just to let you know that this is a conscious choice for me. This was one of my first quilts here, and it has traditional patterns in it. And it's all handwork. All of these, this is called Jacob's Ladder, the Underground Railroad. And then this is called the chain. And then the harvest birds here at the top. And how it came to be was circumstances set. See where that black is? That was the bottom of the quilt, okay? So I was almost finished with all of these pieces, and I use a little paper bag, it's called English patchwork. I covered all the figures and I was collecting them all up. And then it was Easter and I had to get rid of them. My daughter was helping me clean up. And I said, what, after Easter dinner, I said, what happened to my people? And she said, I don't know. And I said, so 2 weeks went by and I said, did anybody see my people? And no, we can't find people. So I started again. I mean, I just felt like it was a waste of time to try to find these. I'll just start again. So once I found the rest of the, once I did these people, okay, so now I have all these people. And what I do is I believe that things happen for a reason. So it was supposed to be longer. So how do I put these together? It's called a grid. Okay, if you look at the background, it's I guess in Africa they do strip quilting. They have kente cloth. It's about 6 inches wide. And they put it together to make a whole cloth. So this method of strip quilting is kind of rooted there, but I'm sure other cultures have also done it. And I know Native Americans definitely do the strip quilt. So I put the backgrounds together, I measured it out, and I put the side panels on, and then I went about making sure that I had enough of these small underground railroads to go along the side. And then I got to the top and I went across and it came down. Now this particular quilt has a lot to do with how I wanted to be able to view a journey of depression and sadness and say there's royalty and redemption for everyone. And that with my Jewish friends, they always talked about their redemption and elevating their people. I thought I can do this too. So these are the staffs that I put in. They are all based on sculptures that my father-in-law, these were his ties. I did the chain for his ties. So it's everything that you touch as you're working with this, it's a prayer. It's a meditation for those people. Now, if we touch something, forever our energy is in that thing because it's like this. How did I know that? Because I used to have a restaurant and I used to fry chicken in my restaurant. And the same chicken, the same batter, and somebody would say, that's not your chicken. Well, it has to be my chicken because it came from the same batter and the same. Your personal connection with everything that you touch is forever there. Okay, so that's why I tried to get people to come to my restaurant. It's like, well, I'm an artist, and so my food is art. It's like, come to my restaurant. So having this is a memory of my father-in-law. He was a superintendent of Pittsburgh Public Schools. He mentored me at the table in the yard. We raked leaves together in the fall. So all of these memories always come back. How are we doing with time? How are we doing with time?
Don't worry.
Okay.
I think you're
So, because we haven't gotten through but one quilt. And so, and I don't wanna belabor it too much because there are about 75 quilts in my silk collection. And a lot of them have come and gone at this point. And I want to say that I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I've had to be able to have the time to create this work and share it with you because it makes a difference when people can receive what it is that you're bringing. Because there's all of us, women, we all have something to share that we need to let go of. And sometimes I get a little emotional because it's like, how did I get so lucky to be able to do it? But I'm not a teacher. I am a child between two academics, a lawyer and a superintendent of school in Chicago. I was an odd man out. Yes, I was the different one. So,
An amen to that.
so I'm saying our children are different now. Our children are struggling to be because they are odd man out or whatever. So if everyone took on just one child or one family or one situation where you could make that child feel special. I was special because my mother didn't make us, she didn't compare. And I had aunties and great grandmothers and all of that, because I knew my great grandmother who took you as you were and loved you. So you could always fall back on that love. So when they say, oh, love is everything, it is. Love is everything, and especially where we are as human beings now, we all need to be able to embrace, because we have so many issues, in the way that we interact with the earth, with each other, and our compassion level has gone down. We need to bring it back up. We need to make it ours. We need to claim it again. So my last time I'm gonna talk about this, and then we can kind of look at a little closer. This is a quilt that I made in 2000. And the interesting thing about this is that I like to go to the garage sale, so a lot of this is found objects, whatever. And this older man was getting rid of his mother's belongings, and I was buying up some jewelry or whatever, and I said, what about those over there? And he said, oh, I'm gonna throw those out. And I said, oh my gosh, your mother was so talented, and she spent so much time putting this, and I said, this is a beautiful piece. And it reminded me of an Egyptian water lily. And I thought, well, she was from Russia, I think, because we have lots of ethnic groups in Pittsburgh. And I said, we can come together with these cultures. So I took her piece, I said, if you give it to me, and I made two or three pieces out of her work. And then I embroidered on top of it and appliqued on top of it my story. So this is my story. So there are fishes that are here, and they're hard to see, right? But you have to get a little closer. And so it's the two fish coming together to make one. It's the family unit. And then there always has to be someone who's the strong one in the family. And then the other, who I'm standing on my head for my husband. And I've done that because I wanted for him to give me his strength and the things that he brought to the world. And then I gave him a softening level. So it's not always balanced, but right here you see the balance. And then I had two children here. And then this symbol right here, I use a corpus of symbols that are from the continent, and they're in the back of the book. If you look on the internet, the PDF where it says catalog has all the quilts and all the information that's there. And you'll see the symbols that are there. So this means family, and this means hand of God. And there's a little embroidered here, which means that as it is above, so it is below. And so I infuse these symbols all through the quilt as just decorative art, but they're really meaningful. Everything is purposeful in each one of these pieces. And so that's why it is a prayer. It is a meditation. It's not just like candy work. This is my symbol that I like to use, which means it is about the journey. It's always about the journey. What you pick up, what you have to leave behind, and then water. We always want to go back to the water. We all ran to the city, but when we're going on vacation, we got to go back to the water, So we are drawn to the water. So this is our life force. So here's the water here that goes up, and then there's a little handle on top of it. And then this figure, and you'll have to come up and look at it, is a stick figure of myself where I was giving what I could give. And I did another piece, which is women in different cycles of their life, and how sometimes you have to take a rest and you have to step back, but then you emerge from the experience. You emerge in the experience. So we have this, and then we have this. And so I have these little dancing figures because I love the ballet. There's some the dancing figures in here as well. So music and dance are kind of part of the performance. The performance is me and my needle. Me and my needle. And so this piece right here is my Pittsburgh piece. And this is August Wilson, 10 plays. Everybody, maybe? Yes? No? Kind of. But anyway, he's a world-renowned writer of 10 plays that were all set in the Hill District of Pittsburgh. And about, let's see how long ago. 2006. They chose 10 artists to do a quilt based on each play. My play was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And so, how I interpreted it, so he gave me the play, blah, blah, blah. But it was the fact that August Wilson's story is so inspirational because he was gifted and brilliant. And he went to school and he wrote a paper and they accused him of plagiarism. And I think he was probably in the 9th grade. So what he did, he kept telling me he had written his paper himself and done all the research, but they didn't believe him. So he quit school. He went to school every day. His mother thought he was going to school. He was going to the library. He taught himself for over a year before his mother knew that he wasn't going to school every day. So his heart was broken because nobody believed in him enough to say, no, he needed an advocate, and he didn't have an advocate. But anyway, so he started hanging out in coffee shops and bars too, with his cigarette and his paper, and then his brother finally gave him money to get a typewriter, so he started typing these plays. So if you don't know August Wilson's story, you really have to go and explore him a little bit. But so he had this kind of relationship with Pittsburgh, the yin and the yang. He loved it because he did all these plays that made him very famous, but then he had that sad spot there that talked about him not being lifted up in his own hometown. So this is Ma Rainey, and then I have at the bottom this is called Tributaries of Genius. And so I thought about August, and I thought about all the artists that are there that are undiscovered, and the ones that decided to stay and not go elsewhere. And that was the richness of the tributaries. Again, the theme of water is there. And Billy Strayhorn is over here. He was around the corner from us. And so these are all people that you could actually put your hands on. I mean, they're not ancient history. And so August Wilson, this is called Tributaries of Genius. And these are all, Teenie Harris is also a very famous photographer who also is in our neighborhood because I was not from Pittsburgh, but my husband knew them all. And so he kind of guided me a lot with the imagery and the storytelling because the Hill District is 2 hills and then there's like a valley in between. So, and then it was a place where there were lots and lots of immigrants that lived together during the Great Migration. So it's a great story. Go look it up and enjoy. Last, which one? Which one?
The green one.
The green one. Okay, that's a simple one. Okay. So in 1998, my husband and I went to Ghana, and I went specifically looking for reflections of us. Where are we? How we can connect. So this is about extension. These are 2 people from my church who, he is African and she's from the neighborhood. They were dressed up in African garb, and I thought, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'll take your picture. And then I took pictures of all kinds of gates and ironwork while I was in Africa. I brought them back, and then I started to work with them. A lot of the photography too is my photography that is that one right there. So, but I think that this is worth mentioning, which is there are 2 schools in my neighborhood in the East End. One is called Westinghouse High School and the other one was Crescent. And over top of the door, there was a frieze with iron work in it. And both of these, I took them and put them together and made them into a medallion. And in this, I said I talk about symbols, and I am able to recognize a lot of symbols now by heart. And in this ironwork was a symbol that says Sankofa, or knowledge. So the question is whether or not the ironworkers knew what the ironwork was over these institutions of education, or was it happenstance? Thank you.
So next I'd like to invite Kelly McKee up to the podium. Kelly McKee from McKee Allstate Agency, and is another one of our founding members, and she has another little activity for us to explore, so.
Wow,
Yes.
I tell you, talk about, it's like you never wanna go out for lunch, right? And,
Breathless.
thank you. So, we're gonna do, one of the things we like to do is to try to come up with something that we connect. And so, as we've seen, and I've been inspired by things I've heard from Tina and people that I've met today, but when we come together, we're actually creating something different and something new. Even if everybody has been together before, when we come together and the energy, especially women energy, which I'm so passionate about. I have 2 granddaughters that I just, their joy of life that just is unbridled. It's kind of like you want to get back to what that is, right? But we're here together, and so one of the things we wanted to do is, since we're here, we want to create something together. And so my helper Lori, we're gonna go back to here. And we have a blank piece of dryboard. And what we'd like to do is actually to ask everyone, we're gonna give you a piece of fabric. You can pick whichever piece of fabric. We've got lots of Sharpies. And we have a request. I'd like you to write the name of someone who's inspired you and put it on the paper. And what we're gonna create together is a very mini quilt of pulling all of us together and all of our inspiration and actually creating a memory of the fact that we've spent this evening together. So, were you passing
Passing them out, we've got people passing them out here.
We might.
Kelly, I'm sorry, I missed the first part of what you said.
Okay,
I
so,
was
do you have a
worried
piece
about
of
my
fabric?
class, right? Yeah.
Okay, you have a piece of pick a fabric. Okay, take a Sharpie.
Yep.
On the fabric, in any manner you would like, cursive, printed, pictures, write the name of someone who has inspired you. Someone who has been mentioned, something that they've said to you or that's actually come back and changed your life a little bit. And what we want to do is we're gonna use push pins, because we, don't wanna spend all evening trying to do it, and taking this blank piece of cardboard and filling it with a little piece of everybody that's been here tonight. Okay? So whatever you want to do.
Oh, you're in a historical
But you know, you can't, yeah, that's exactly right.
They were the whole way to the door. They weren't even
Oh, okay, but yeah, he was, but he was
That's true. Well, hurricane hit down there.
I need a microphone. No? What are you trying to say, Alicia? I'm loud. This is really amazing to see such a great turnout tonight. My name's Kylie Myers. I'm with Celebrate Gettysburg Magazine. I'm also a founding member, and I'll say I'm the youngest founding member, and that's not to take away. That's not to take away. Let me explain that. Because I felt, with this group of ladies, I felt truly humbled to be a part of what they were doing. And someone said, oh, you have to call Kylie and celebrate. So whoever that was, maybe it was Patricia, I believe, thank you very much. I was very honored and proud to be a part of that. And I say that because I do think it's important that we as women sort of erase all those lines, you know, age and race and all those things, and you know, just really come together as one. I think that's when we're most powerful. So I was really humbled to be asked to be a part of the group of founding members. And with Celebrate Gettysburg Magazine, I was born and raised in Adams County, but lived my whole adult life in Philadelphia before coming back here a couple years ago. I'm the proud mom of 2 beautiful girls. And fun fact, my oldest actually gave us our name, Women Empowered. She started a little thing in her school with a little mission statement and all that stuff. And I said, we're looking for a name. Do you mind if I pitch your name? And I promise I'll give you credit. And she didn't want to be here tonight, but she wasn't feeling well the past 2 days, and she has like 5 tests tomorrow to study for. And I think that's cool because I think you know, bridging those generational gaps are really important. So for the first time in my life, I worked in a predominantly male industry prior to this, in the military industry, and I feel as if I have female role models and mentors, and that's something that's really important to me. So I think it's important for me then to sort of reach down and, you know, pull that next generation up. So I do all those things. I coach the girls' volleyball and basketball teams and all that cool stuff. So I think it's really important that we, you know, we continue to do what we're doing. I always say I wish I would have known the things that I know now a lot sooner. So maybe we can try to help educate that next generation. So, you know, I hope it doesn't take my girls as long as it took me to find who I am and to find my confidence. So I think that's a really important thing. But just quickly, Celebrate Gettysburg Magazine. So proud of this issue. Just super near and dear to my heart, and just so proud to put this issue out into the community. This is our September-October issue, and it's our business education and finance issue, and it highlights what you'll see on the front is young entrepreneurs. So this is really exciting. I pitched this story about 1.5 years ago after meeting
one of these gentlemen and then slowly meeting the rest. But what's really important is we have our women's section in here. And it was our first annual issue last year, and I remember going back to Jess, who is the owner of Celebrate Gettysburg Magazine, Jessica Dean, and after meeting all of these amazing women, and some of them that are in this issue you'll see here tonight, just saying to her, like, we have to do something, because as we all know, life and business and all these things, it's not just an ad or a brand or something like that. It's really about who these people are. So we created an opportunity to tell their stories, and we had a behind the cover event. Was it last week? I've been so crazy, I'm getting my weeks mixed up. And it was such an honor to, I sat with each of these women. We had 21 women this year. Last year we had 10, and I'm grateful to all of them for participating and for sitting down with me and telling their stories, because some of us, we sat, the rocks in New Oxford, and we cried, doing the interview, and some of us we laughed, and some of us, we just talked about so many amazing things. So I'm really proud to be here tonight to represent Celebrate Gettysburg, and I'm really proud to be a founding member, and for Celebrate Gettysburg to be doing the things that we're doing, to have the support of our owner to highlight amazing women in our community. So with that being said, I'm supposed to be thanking the sponsors, correct? Oh, last plug. There are a ton of amazing women's and other events in here. So if y'all did not register for the YWCA Emerge Conference, it's the first annual women's conference happening in this area. So that is really exciting. It's on October 18th. Take a vacation day. It's actually work. So tell your business to pay for it. Yes, YWCA Hanover. There's an ad in here, so everyone should be able to get a copy. So please, or you can register with me or with Kelly. We're both involved. Kelly's on the board and I'm on the marketing committee. But please register for that event if you can. There's also other events in there, including the Hoffman Homes Gala and She events that are happening in Hanover. So just a lot of really exciting things that are happening in this area. All right, so I'll let you guys get out of here. So our list of sponsors tonight include Patricia Green Rogers of Stone Scone Farm and the Patricia Green Group. We're thanking her for bringing Tina to Gettysburg, her first time, so that's really exciting. And providing the flowers. Myself, Celebrate Gettysburg Magazine, and Myers Meat Market for the media promotion and for the cheese and bologna tray. Cynthia Ziegler of Country Inn and Sweets Gettysburg for the vases and cutting the flowers. Kathi Furhrman of Furhrman Creative for recording this evening's events. Tammy Myers of the Gettysburg Heritage Center for the room and equipment. Pronounce Naomi's last name for me. I always mess up. Haldebrand. Naomi Haldebrand of Haldebrand Winery for the sangria. Christine Witherow of Harvest Investment Services for the balloons and decorations. Jen Decker of J. Decker Photography for taking photos of the evening. Follow us on Celebrate Gettysburg Magazine, because we'll be getting some photos from Jen, hopefully again. Where is she? Over here. Oh, there she is. Hopefully, so that we can put out there for you guys to see. And to Kelly McKee of McKee Allstate Agency for underwriting this evening's events.